when you have batteries, you need to charge them. And since getting extensively involved with such things, I knew that dedicated hardware was going to be in order. Quick disclaimer about this video. I purchased all of this equipment for my own needs and means, and therefore I'm able to give you a video without sponsors poking me in the rear and giving me a script. So let's get into this. This video is all about showing you over the past year the lithium iron phosphate chargers I've used for 12-volt systems, so that hopefully you can make your own decision based around one, maybe for your own system. For starters, I needed a charger to both handle lithium iron phosphate and lead acid duties, primarily for keeping car batteries charged and for charging my own 12-volt systems. And for those reasons, I chose the HTRC P20. This charger has a lot packed into it for not so much price, and we're going to get into the price in a little bit. But first off, it's a 20 amp charger. It has a charge selector to go 5, 10, and 20, or 3 amp, 5 amp, and 10 amp for the 24 volt compatibility it has with both lead acid and lithium iron phosphate, as well as gel and AGM. This battery charger is insanely easy to use. Whenever you want to change modes, you simply go bink, bink, bink. It will cycle through the modes, and once it's done, it will say finish or FUL for full. A very interesting fact about this charger is that it uses 12-volt jumper leads, as seen here. However, they come with an XT60 connector to plug into the unit, which was an odd choice, but if you have any batteries with that kind of connector, it can be extremely handy. This does have some coil whine and fan noise, given that it requires forced induction to do any kind of cooling. Low volumes and mid volumes, it is not very loud at all. But on the highest amperage, it can get a little annoying. And the charger sits at around 90 degrees Fahrenheit most times. If it's outside in the sun, it'll probably sit somewhere around 100 degrees internally. But it's rather somewhat cool to the touch and just warm if it's sitting out in the sun. It does produce some fan noise. However, from around 5 feet away from me, which is generally where my battery systems sit when I'm working, I can put on a pair of pretty standard monitors, over-ear monitors, or even a gaming headset, and it'll be pretty darn muffled. You can still hear it, but not too badly. It's just fine. And all of this for 60 bucks. Come on. Like, it's MOSFET based. It won't last for potentially more than like 13 years on the high end, but it'll be able to easily keep up with charging anywhere from a 15 amp hour to a 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. That's 12 or 24 volts. Just fine. However, later on I started getting involved with bigger battery banks to run my entire PC and still be charged while running. So the 250-ish watts that the P20 was giving me was not quite enough. And this was a 200 amp hour 12 volt bank. So 2400 watt hours. Pretty darn decent. With any battery bank this big, you need a very good high output and reliable charger. Enter the Behemoth. This is a 12 volt lithium iron phosphate charger from Litime. And generally some people like to take dumps on Litime for being Chinese, but for what they made, this is a 40 amp charger that puts out around 560-ish watts and has a removable AC cord. The DC end comes with pretty sturdy, where's the gauge? 10 mil wire, 10 millimeter squared, with a not quite OEM Anderson 50 amp connector. These wires don't get very warm. The wires that they did include with M8 terminal studs, those do get a slight tad warm, and I mean just like maybe 95 degrees warm. Not anything bad within use. This has had kilowatt hours put through it. It has probably had around 5 or 6 kilowatt hours. I don't have the ability to shove, for example, multiple kilowatt hours through something in a few days, like, for example, Will Prowse does. I don't live in that kind of situation. This is more of a passion project. So having the ability to charge battery banks quickly and effectively, would be great. It would take that little P20 10 hours to charge that whole battery bank. And when I put a load on it, like my PC, and wish to turn on the charger just to sustain it and put watt hours through the system without having it run out of battery, well, that doesn't work very well when the PC draws around 400 watts, for example, while rendering. Though the battery does act as a good buffer. This thing allows me to run 500 watts continuously and still charge the battery with about 60 watts. And for reference, the 50 amp Anderson pigtail it comes with has M8 studs, which many of you may recognize aren't quite the 5/8 or M10 studs standard on most bus bars. So the common place that I used to put that in my case system was on the inverter terminals themselves, on top of the battery lugs. That worked pretty well. Now, as for noise, this has a softer tone to it. It is more of a than a it's rather bearable with headphones on. The volume of air moved is a lot more with this than the HTRC P20. However, it is a very bearable volume, but not something you want to go to sleep right next to. If it's in a separate room or in somewhere in your RV to charge up the batteries at 40 amps off of shore power, you should be just fine. But remember, with anything that requires forced induction or cooling at all, to give it plenty of air. Most of these things don't like being starved for air. This specific model charger is not available at the moment. There will be affiliate links for all these products listed, but the 40 amp charger from Litime is not currently available. There is the 60 and 80 amp models available, which are priced similarly around $200 to $230, but the 80 amp is that same relative price because it's on sale. So if you guys want to get it, you can click that affiliate link, and those funds will go directly into building bigger systems and testing more items. But as of recently, towards the last month and a half, I've gotten into building smaller packs. And instead of using a gigantic one of these, or the slightly suboptimal P20 charger, I decided, why not a dedicated solution that I could use in the field where these things are going to be used, and for charging a few of them. I was looking for around 20 amps of output with a decent size and being very robust. And this led me to the Firstpower Pro Charger, which, as you might be able to tell, has a pretty good IPX rating, specifically IPX 67. This entire thing is probably potted and encased in a metal case that has a fan on top, the whole body acting as a heat sink and the fan on top blowing over the top, and is just about as robust as you can get for this kind of money, specifically $88, which if you have one or two 12-volt batteries to charge and you need a mounted solution or one that is resistant to water and dust, this will suit you just fine. And so far this has had about 2 kilowatt hours through it and has made me very happy. It has a simplistic charge indicator. Instead of just being green or red, it has red flash, which means 0 to 90% state of charge, flashing green, meaning it's at about 90% state of charge, and green solid is on standby. And the fan will turn off with all of these models under no load. And this isn't too loud either, but unlike the P20, doesn't require as much air to be moved through it as it is a gigantic heat sink. This is a little bit quieter, but you're not going to care too much about volume, given that this thing is going to be potentially mounted either inside a 12-volt application or just used to charge one or two things. So it's really not that big of a deal. Now, on a separate note, there is a company called Form Industries, I believe, but Form, that makes a lovely 12-volt 30-amp charger in the same golf cart style. This one is $120. It outputs 30 amps. 10 more amps and a 24-month standard warranty? Why not? I might get my hands on that at some point, but mostly all of this is related to what I'm doing for enabling and helping people. So all of Popwit's power systems is really meant to enable. So if there's a project that needs 48 volt, I go 48 volt. If it's a project that needs 12 volt, I go 12 volt. Simple enough. And overall, it is important to note that this barely scratches the surface of the amount of chargers available. There's a lot out there, and I just scratched a few. But in the end, I hope this was helpful for some of you, maybe making a decision around some of these products, or just getting into the area looking for a 12-volt battery charger within the lithium iron phosphate scene. And thank you to all of those who stuck around to the end, and I hope you all got some value out of it. So, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Bigger systems will be built and tested. However, finances are the limiting factor. These things are really expensive. I ordered about $300 of batteries recently. Yeah, cells. So I'm building them. But stick around if you want to see more of those. And watch the previous video if you want to see some more battery testing that I did on the first module. All right. Have a good day.